I'll just record on my laptop.
Okay, wonderful. So good morning / if you're on the East Coast, no wait, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
Central Coast, East Coast, afternoon, right? So if you're still on the West Coast, I don't even know the time anymore. If it's still morning, good morning. If it's afternoon, good afternoon. And next week when we do this, there's gonna be good early morning because one of our judges is coming from over judging from Taiwan. So for them, that's when we do our judging, it's gonna be there 5 a.m. in the morning. So we have wonderful people who are dedicating their time and energy and also sleep to be with us, to help challenge you all in order to support you all on the great work you're doing. My name is Anthony Lay. It spells L-E. But it's pronounced Lay, as in legendary, as in legacy, or legitimately your best friend in this journey. And I'm going to help you kind of go through this process so that you feel comfortable and confident. I'll do a lot of this training and orientation today, but before that, I want to introduce you to our Civic Leadership Academy team, Wen Yuan, and then after that, Qing Bai will introduce herself, and then she's going to talk more about this experience. So I'm going to go hand over to Wen first to a quick introduction, and then Qing will introduce herself and talk about why we're here, what's the whole purpose.
Yeah, hi, thank you, Anthony. Good morning, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon. My name is Wen. I'm the president of Civic Leadership Academy. And I'll be the tech support for this session and the pitching session. Qing?
Oh, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Qing Bai. I'm the Director of Education in Civic Leadership Academy. We are so honored to have students like all of you submitting mini grant application to us. We would love to use this opportunity to support student groups to do civic engagement or community impact projects. And also not only the mini grant, but also very experienced experts to be the judges and be the mentors if think it's helpful. So I would like to share my screen for the judges we will have. Okay, so this is a try. So can everyone see my screen? Yes, thumbs up. Okay, so I'm gonna send this link in the chat box as well. If you go to the bottom of this page, you can see the 3 judges we invite. These 3 honorable judges. The first one, Anthony just mentioned, he is traveling to Taiwan right now, so he will. The pitching event will be the very early morning for him, like 5 a.m. But he's a longtime mentor for us. He's a venture capitalist for many years, and he supports a lot of social enterprise, means business, but also have a social meaning for the particular business. And we also have 2 young women judges. Both have a very a lot of experience in civic engagement and helping the community. So if you want to check them out before the pitching, you're welcome to do so. I will send the link to the chat box. And yeah, so the goal of this mini grant, as I just mentioned, is to support you at the beginning level of your project. Maybe you are still planning or you just start doing your project. Last year, we have our national showcase. That is for the projects already finished, completed. So we invite groups to showcase their work. This year, we're still gonna do that, do the showcase and give out project awards. But we want to add more support at the beginning of your project. So that's the purpose of our mini grants. Okay, so I will hand it back to Anthony. Yeah, all yours.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you,
Mhm.
Ching, so much for that. So you'll see me kind of like talking to the attendees a little bit here and there. And then we're going to explain to you the reason why we ask you to log in as attendees and then what it's going to look like in the future. But for now, those who are in the attendees role, we are going to send you a permission request to promote you to panelists. And once you see that, click accept, because you all will need to be in the panelist role to present. Okay, so we're gonna do that really quickly right now. Then I'm gonna tell you more about what this whole entire thing is about. So for example, I'm seeing Austin, Chang, Can, Hao Kong, and I cannot read. Yeah, they're symbols. I apologize. I am American.
田老师, yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is good. Yeah. So please accept that. Let us know. This is okay if I join with a device, please. Someone has said that. Yes, directly. Yes, you can join us with a different device. Totally okay. This one's a little bit more lax, but next week you will want to make sure you have your setup prepared. I'll give you an example. So this is a setup I have for myself that has, I'm using my phone as this camera. This is my normal computer camera right here. This is what it looks like normally, right? This is like one device I'm using versus this is my professional official device right here. You saw it change, right? Yes, thumbs up. Okay, because sometimes it doesn't do that. So what I'm gonna go over today is in essence, a couple parts. What to expect, what's the experience gonna look like for you all, so you can be prepared as much as possible. What are things you do for preparations? What do you need to do to prepare before logging on to Zoom? And then the presentation, what are some things you got to do? Then we also have a section for tips. I will have this all in the document. I will go over the document, a little bit of the document today. The link to the document will be given out in this group chat. I want you to save that, but this link will also go out to you later on as well when Ching sends you another updated email. Now, pitching day is going to be really fun. It's unique, as Ching mentioned something, is that this pitching day is an expansion of last year's National Civic Showcase. And the intention of this last year was that we know for a fact that there are many young leaders in the United States who are doing amazing work. But a lot of times, and this is kind of like the challenge I see with nonprofit, this happens with nonprofits, and we're trying to change it a little bit by starting with the youth, is that a lot of nonprofits get funding because they've been established. If you're a brand new nonprofit, a lot of times you don't get funding, and you got to work really, really hard just to prove to yourself. We realize that's a really big barrier for innovation, barrier for creative energy, and barrier for young leadership to show up. And so we did the showcase as a way to promote new leadership, new innovation, and new energy to make the world better. Okay. The world has a lot of Red Crosses, right? We have all these large organizations, for example, but you may have new innovation that's more reflective of your community. I'm a big believer that, you want to think global, right? But act local, right? You want to think, how can you serve community in that local area so that you can be better for your community? A lot of times, if you think about it, if you think about large organization, nonprofits, who shows up in communities that are marginalized, underrepresented, under-resourced, the solutions don't quite fit because each community have their own challenge. If you think about it, your community that you represent and the work you're doing is a reflection of the need that's happening right there. So we know that there are organizations that are struggling. Ooh, the sun's shining on me. I think the universe is saying, keep talking. You're doing good. I don't know. Or I'm just maybe delusional. I did have my coffee though, so we're okay. You yourself are a reflection of your community, and we want to support that. And so this whole entire section is to help you to really refine on how you present to yourself and present to others, and so that you be prepared and you feel confident and comfortable. Now, I will go ahead and share my screen really quickly. I will have this document for you all as well. And so while I'm doing this, I kind of want you to really just focus on just glancing really, and then just more pay attention to what I'm speaking about. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger just so that people can read. Now, a couple things here. During this presentation, I want you to use the chat window, because if you have questions, put the questions in the chat window for me. I promise to every so often, I will pause a section and I'll look at those questions. Okay. Another thing is that I'm trying to limit time and help us focus. So the questions, I will only answer questions if they're in the chat window, because I can see all the questions that are showing up, put the questions together and then answer it all together. Because there may be 4 or 5 people who have the same question. Another reason why I'm doing this, and hopefully no one feels offended by this, a lot of times when people ask questions on the video, this is what they do. Hi, my name is Anthony. I'm with Pivotal Moments. Hi, nice to meet you all. Hi, I'm from San Jose. I'm helping CLA with their stuff. Okay. Oh, I thank you so much for doing this workshop, and this is so good. Okay. Oh, so my question is, you waste 20 seconds of people's time. I want us to get into habit to be really focused. So that's why I want you to practice putting those questions in the chat window for me so that we can practice being succinct. I'm gonna put those questions together and I'm gonna answer that back after every so much a period, okay? It sounds kind of weird, but it's like very like 1, 2, 3, 4, like really straightforward. And it's because we have such a limited time, and I want you to have as much time as possible to focus on pitching to the judges, okay? So what to expect that day. This is what it's going to look like. If you look at your Zoom window with everyone there, we have at least 26 participants, not including the 3 judges. And we have other people who have teammates. So imagine a whole entire room like this with almost maybe 50 to maybe potentially 100 people in the room. You can imagine the logistics of that is going to be really difficult, and how we're going to like organize all this. Okay. Well, we'll start off with the first picture, is that we want to make sure that we give people enough time, focus time. We want to make sure that we challenge you all so that you stick to your pitch and that you focus on your pitch. So for example, Vicky, I see your hand right there. Do me a favor, and if you can, go ahead and put that question you have or comment in the group chat. What to expect? You will have, once you're ready to go, you will have up to 5 minutes to pitch your project. And how that will look like is that we will have your group up. You have your introduction slides. We'll talk a little bit more later. And then when I say go, you start your presentation, just like that. Now, do you have to do the full 5 minutes for presentation? No, you can do a 1-minute pitch, a 2-minute pitch, or a 3-minute pitch. The extra time that you have from the 5 minutes will be transferred over to the Q&A and the remarks by the judges. And so if you have extra time, you can allocate that time for Q&A. So for example, my pitch can be 2.5 minutes. The rest of the time will now be added. So I will actually have about 5.5 minutes now for time with Q&A and judges. And I recommend you using that time for the Q&A, because when the judges have questions, it's an opportunity for you to buy them, not to buy them over, that's the wrong word, to convince them that your project is well worth it to invest in. Now, if your whole entire pitch takes a full 5 minutes, that's okay. If you pass the 5-minute mark, I will say time. If you keep on going on, I will mute you, pause till there's a little time left. Then I will start the countdown for the Q&A remarks. This is going to be really important because we have 15 different projects to go through. Everyone is going to be abiding by the same rule. There's no favoritism. We are going to be really focused and making sure that you have your full 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes to present, and even extra time, you have time that with the judges to talk to. I will be the strict timekeeper. A lot of people are scared of doing timekeeping. I've learned how to get over that fear. So I will be the bad guy this day, just so that everyone has equal access of time to the judges and time to present. Okay, now questions. Any questions so far? Thumbs up if you understood that. Questions, if you need to, put in the group chat. Questions? Okay, Show me a thumbs up if that made sense. Did I scare everybody already? I don't see thumbs up. Okay, show me a thumbs up on your Zoom if that made sense to you. Okay. Cool, cool. Wonderful. So I see 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good, good. People are alive. It just takes a while to find the thumb. You know, that is also very true. It took me a long while to figure out where the thumb is too. And I appreciate you mentioning that, Ed. Cool, 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 cool. All right. Thank you so much. So I think I got enough understanding that people are understanding. If you have questions, please just put it in the group chat. Okay. So the preparation, this is what we're asking you all to do preparations. We want you to do a title slide for us, because what it's going to look like is you will have about a minute to prepare to go on. And that is with the assumption that we have already let you know that you're going up next. So for example, I see Jody, Candace, Lucy from NFPP, right? What would have happened by this time, right before they go on, is Wen and Ching will reach out to you through group chat, like a behind the scene message, promote you up as a panelist if you're not a panelist already, and say, be ready. So I will be talking to the whole entire audience and the judges and our viewers, and of course you, and I would say, judges, please prepare to do your submissions, what you need to do. Coming next is NFPP, and then you should then have your slide ready to go. And the slide will have your project name, your team member's name, and the project purpose. So that's going to be your introduction, your slight introduction screen. So while everyone's preparing for the next, while everyone is transitioning, you are using that time to present your slide, your title slide, and use that time, that 1 minute, to prepare for your pitch. At that moment, after the minute's up, I'm going to say, all right, NFPP, go for it. You're on, go for it. You're good to go. And I press the timer, and then you present there. But the first part of the preparation is that we need a title slide that contains all that. You can add some pretty stuff to it. Just make sure it's readable, because people who are seeing this online are going to read that first. Presentation, oh my goodness. Preparation also is presentation slides. We encourage you all to use some kind of visuals to pitch your project. So some of you all are really good where you may not need visuals, but we just highly encourage it, because some people, because we're in the Zoom world, people tend to follow a little bit better when it comes to having visuals, like slides or so. And side note, your presentation starts when the timer says go, not when you open your slides. So if you open your slides early because during transition, you're not presenting yet. When I say go, that's when you present. And it's not when I say go and then you open your slides, okay? Hopefully by having your title slides open up already during the transition period, all you need to do is worry about me saying go and you start. And then recommendation for your presentation content is make sure your pitch includes project name, team members, project objectives, project plan, and goals. This is pretty much the biggest chunk of the preparation, because a lot of times you might have the other information. You might want to tell a story, and you might miss the whole entire point of like pitch to the judge. If you contain these and add your elements of creativity, then you should be good. Pause there. Questions so far? All right. Once again, thumbs up for me, if that made sense. Okay, wonderful. Cool. How are we doing in time? Let's see here. Perfect. Oh, good. We're ahead of schedule, so I'm good. Okay. Now, this is the important part. If you notice, I'm talking about preparations before the Zoom. Now we're talking about logging onto Zoom. As you see, we did this at the very beginning, right? Log into the Zoom. Each person will have their own unique link to log on to. This link will automatically promote you to a panelist. So for me this morning, when I logged in, I just clicked on one link and it allowed me to become a panelist right away. You all received a link that led you to be an audience member. That was on purpose because we want you to see what that looks like when you were audience. Some people may have that experience, some don't. I'm just assuming that we can start from the very beginning of this, just so that we can be on the same page. But for us, you don't want to be the audience. You want to be a panelist. Okay. This will actually help us speed up the process because when you log on as a panelist, what will happen then is you will be able to have all these options to talk to people, to present. And if you're an audience member, what you're really seeing right now is 2 people. And that's Wen and myself. But because you're on a panelist role, you can see everybody. And we need this view so that we can really pinpoint who to spotlight, who to say go, when to prepare. So I'm not picking on NFPP for any reason, but it's just because just 3 of them are just listed at the very top, right, on my screen. So what's going to look like is Wen and Shing's going to reach out to Jody, Candace, and Lucy and be like, hey, you're next, be prepared. Candace, you're next, be prepared. Lucy, you're next, be prepared. Okay, and let's actually do this right now. Assume that you're all going on next. What I'm going to do is say, now we are presenting the next project. This project name, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much. Everyone, I'm going to say that again, but this time I want you to practice turning on your camera. Okay, so let's do this right now. Really quickly, because I want to make sure you understand that cue. All right. Judges, thank you so much. Audience member, thank you for being here with us. Now we are going to present the next project name, blah, blah, blah. Let's have next project name, blah, blah, blah. Present. All right, everybody, that's your cue. Turn your camera on. Okay, so do you see how that transition, right? And now do you also see how that screen shows up? People are going to start seeing those screens show up exactly like that. Okay. During that minute of transition, you may be asked to turn your camera on earlier, and that's just to help save time. Okay. Ooh, the sun is really bright. Either like, okay, it's just weird. But did you all understand that? Okay. Okay. So right there, Wen has a great example. You'll be there. You'll be next to present. Please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. Okay. That is what the message you will be getting based on your order number and your project. Okay, go ahead and you can turn your camera back off now, and then I'm going to answer Jody's question. Thank you so much for participating with me. That means you're alive and you're awake with us. I teach high school kids on Saturdays for leadership projects, and they're sleeping still. Would be easier for representatives to share a Zoom or log onto Zoom individually. Let's see here. Jody, can I have you unmute yourself and clarify your question just so I can make sure I understand that?
Yeah, so we were wondering if our representatives could go and meet together somewhere to join onto one Zoom account and join the meeting to present.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I did understand the question. So thank you so much, Jody. It depends on your setup, I would say. So the assumption is that everyone's still meeting virtually. And so you may just be on separate window screen, right? So people can see your face a little clearly. If you have a crazy idea where you want everyone there together with you, make sure your technology supports that. And when I say the technology support that is, for example, you can't fit like 7 people's head right here. If you have like 7 people, right? It doesn't make sense. But if you back up too far, sometimes the microphone won't pick you up. And so if it's all one screen, you just got to be ready to have someone to able to see you all, to make sure they hear you, and you're still able to present your visuals. That's logistic stuff. If you can figure that out, then it's okay to meet one person. It's totally cool. I think it's kind of cute that if you all are one group together and you're just like, hey, we're here, we're gonna present this. That just adds to the appeal of like how cohesive you are working as a team, which the judges will be looking at. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Okay. So scooting back a little bit. And when I say technology, I mean, like, for example, I have this app where I can zoom into my face to really close to my face or all the way out like this. Okay, so you may have camera apps that does this. You may have someone recording you. I don't know how advanced you are. I know some of you all also maybe potentially do streaming, and you may have some amazing setup, more amazing than this, right? And if it works for you, do that. What we're just encouraging you to do is just be prepared to present on Zoom. And if you do it with just one link, it makes it a lot easier, right? Because you just click one link. It's also easier for us. However, just make sure everyone has a link to log in as a panelist. If you log into one link, you may show up as the exact same name. And so when you log in, just make sure you rename yourself, which, ta-da, number 2, to help create a smooth transition experience for all of us, you need to rename your Zoom. So by Wednesday, we will have finalized your project presentation number. And that's because we're trying to make sure who is still not committing with us fully 100% by the end of the day today. And also what we're doing is that by the end of the day, Monday, we're going to ask you to message Qingbai and let her know if there's any time constraints. We know for a fact that in the application that we ask you that to mark a checkbox that you will agree to be with us full time for pitching day. But let's be honest, sometimes life does happen and your time is now switched up. So we're going to ask you to make sure you message Qingbai no later than Monday, end of Monday, to let her know that, hey, I know our thing is from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock Pacific time. Is it possible that we go from sometime between 2:30 till 3:30? Because that would help us out. One of our members who's very critical has some family stuff came up that's very important, like a funeral or like a wedding. Okay. That stuff has happened in the past. You let Ching know, and then Wednesday we'll have a finalized list of the schedule. Okay. So once you have that information, then when you log into Zoom, you can then do presentation number, your first name, last name, project name. Okay. And then Jody, this is perfect. I just asked you some question and you turn your mic on, right? And you sound beautiful, you sound clear, wonderful. From what I could tell, for people who turn their camera on, I really appreciate doing that. It looks like your camera works. For those who did not turn their camera on, I'm going to make the assumption your camera doesn't work because I didn't see it turn on or you're not engaged. And I'm going to be calling you in this case and be like, hey, make sure your camera's on, make sure your mic's on. Because what's also going to happen is that if there's technical difficulties and you're not ready to go, we will push you to the very end of the presentation and give you one more chance to present. And so sometimes this happens. I may be presenting something and then my internet dies out or my camera's no longer working, right? And I'm the most critical person. So you can message us and say, hey, our system is not working. Can you push us back? If we don't hear anything, we're just gonna assume, maybe your internet died out or something happened. And then we're just gonna move on to the next person, but we're gonna give you a chance to log back on again at the end. Okay, so there's not gonna be any process where oh, you missed your turn, you go after the next group. We're gonna go to the exact same order and we're just gonna move you all the way to the end. And then that's when you have to wait to present. So you see, our process is really about go, go, go. Let's present your best self, but also make sure we honor people's time and the experience of this whole entire process. I think that's the most critical part for Zoom. Oh, one, can you confirm everyone? We're going to try to make sure that everyone has a link, separate link, correct? For panelists?
Yes. So for those who will be the presenter, please send the email address to Qingbai as well by end of Monday. And what we'll do is we'll send you a separate link as join as a panelist. So each link is unique to yourself. So please do so by end of Monday.
Wonderful. Thank you, Wen. That's probably the most critical piece, right? Once you have that link, save the link, bookmark it, save it, check your emails, make sure it's not in spam, maybe you don't receive it by Wednesday. Okay. All right, moving on to presentation. Presentation is pretty simple. By Wednesday, you will have your order for presentation. So y'all let us know by end of day Monday. I try to figure out where to put this information. I figured it makes sense for presentation, but you can see it kind of just links everywhere. We will be going in this order that we present to you all. If you're not ready to present to go on time, we will move you to the end. When it's almost your time, our team will reach out to you, like via chat. Hey, you're coming up next. Please turn on your camera, unmute yourself. When you are done, we'll ask you to turn off your camera and we're going to move you to the regular viewer mode. Also, not everyone on your team has to present. Okay, we understand there are some people who are better presenter and some who are better maybe like putting reports together or data together. We understand that. So you don't have to worry about having everyone there. You can say me and blah, blah, represent the team. Our teammates are this. That's okay. Tips. There are a couple of random tips here. Best thing to do is like practice a one-liner introduction. Judges will have your information prior. So the things you submitted when you wanted to be part of pitching day and for the up for consideration for the grants, we have that information. We're gonna be handing that to the judges. They're gonna have a chance to review it really quickly and look at that. They are going to, I'll bring this one later, okay. Another tip is focus on impact and why your project is needed. And a couple of important tips you may want to think about is we don't know your demographic. We don't know the community you're in. So tell us a story about which community you're serving, why it's so important. Help us understand your community, understand the need and why this is important, then help us understand the impact. It's also better to allocate more time for Q&A than spending a full 5 minutes on pitching. The Q&A is important for the judges to be on your side. This is actually how I see it. It's not the judge's intention to remove you. Oops. Okay. It's not the intention, the judges, to disqualify you, to remove you, to say, no, we don't like you. The judges really are here to support you. It's a different mindset because a lot of times we are in these little like competition and it's a lot of times it's like, we don't have enough access to these resources. So we got to work extra hard. The good news is like, I think there's a good amount of resources for us. It's more of now, can we invest in you because we see a future in your project to serve your community? It's a different mindset because it's not like you're trying to fight everyone else. You just want to present your best case and make the judges understand like this is something we can believe in. So that's why the Q&A and the remarks are so important because it's a chance for you to really get them on your side. It's one thing to have a description of your project, what your project's about, but now they get to hear your voice. You get the chance to convince them and be able to say, yeah, this is really cool. I want to spend my time and invest on this. I don't know about them, but for me, I like doing this project because I get to brag. It's like, yeah, I got a chance to coach nationwide, all these like small, amazing projects. That's awesome. Is there anything else to that? So yeah, so think about how you want to allocate your time to focus on pitching and how much time you want to allocate for Q&A for remarks. Something about the judges that's really cool. When Ching Wen and I were working with this and preparing for the judges, and we're talking about how they're going to do the submission forms and they're going to get a submission form, they're going to link, and they're going to choose which judging name and what project, and they're going to like rate you all based on comprehension, community engagement, teamwork, clarity of goals, and they're gonna have a section where it says invest. One of our judges was asking very critical questions of us too, right? And we're like, oh man, we're not being judged, but we are making sure that we have our processes because the judge wants us to be very refined in our process so that you have a great experience. Right. These judges are going to have the same mindset, is that they want you to be more and more refined so that you can be successful too. So it's really critical. We're here to help you succeed. It's not anyone to push anyone down. So if anyone's starting to get anxious, remind yourself, we're here to support you and help you be successful. Okay. Let's see here. We want you to be creative in how you pitch as well. If you need an idea, just go online, watch Shark Tank, see what they do. If you want to add a little drama and like emotions, have fun. But the restriction still applies. You have up into 5 minutes to present your pitch and 3 minutes of question and answer and remarks. Pitch from the perspective that they don't know your world, location, demographics, and who you're serving. That's really important. A good example is if you were to, and I'm gonna choose someone else different now, right? Like Vicky, who is from CLF, I would be like, okay, cool. CLF has, I have no idea what CLF means. Civic Leadership Forum, cool little fun people, right? And this is your chance to be able to really get to help the judges and our audience members get to know you and to help explain what you do. Okay, pause there for a second. Any questions so far? No? Good, good. Okay, that's good to hear. I know Ching had to like log off. She's doing something really quickly. She's in the back end on her phone. So Ching, any questions? And then one, since you're still here, awesome. Any questions or any anything that I missed?
I think you covered almost everything. Good.
Yeah, hi, this is Ching. Oh, hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm on my way to see the doctor. But I want to say, as Anthony mentioned, this pitching event is you're not competing with anyone. You're just doing the best of yourself and present your project plan. That will be great. And as Anthony and Wen also mentioned, we want to support as many as the group. So yeah, good luck. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ching Wen, for that. I want to reiterate that one piece too, because it just occurred to me, right? Our mindset in this world when it comes to philanthropy, nonprofit, is there's never enough resources. This is unique is that we have resources, right? The fact that you are able now to surpass that first level of screening means that we see value in your project. So please, during this process, don't think your project is it good enough? It's good enough. It's really more about how you communicate so that people understand that you want them to be your allies and your supporter and your champions, okay? This one has nothing to do anymore with, is it good enough? It has more to do with how can I communicate so that I can get more support. I like the fact someone's like doing some editing for me right now. Thank you so much. I do want to say that even though I could speak American, just kidding, English is still my second language and my grammar is just horrendous. Wen still fixes my grammar sometimes too. So by the way, thank you, Wen. I never said thank you for that. So that is pretty much the presentation. That's the flow. If you have questions, you can reach out to Ching. And if there's like really big question, they'll pass it on to me as well. At this moment, we have a little bit of time for Q&A. Now, oh, wait. Do I want to do this? Yes. So now it's time for Q&A. And this time it's a little different because there is no questions I see right now. Let's open the floor and you can turn your mic on and your camera on if you have any questions. This is the best time to do that. We have allocated about 15 minutes for Q&A. And yeah. Any questions from our wonderful future presenters? Oh, by the way, I gotta make this joke. You heard earlier, Wen is the president of CLA. How many times have you ever heard Elon Musk run tech for his company? I just gotta say, that's awesome. We have people who don't have egos here. We are supporting each other as a team. Okay, questions? Anyone? Ooh. Either I'm really good or you haven't really started presenting yet, so you have no questions, and the questions will come later this week.
I believe these guys are really expert in Zoom or in presentation now. Yeah, amazing.
I hope so. We've been in this for 2 years. Almost. Yeah.
Yeah,
2 years.
just please make sure you have your slides ready, and sometimes there's a technical issue, so be prepared for that. Yeah.
It's practice. And, yeah.
Yeah, practice. I just remember now. So Jesse, I see your hands up. Give me a second. I'm gonna just make sure I call this point out. You are responsible presenting your own slides. That's actually, I forgot to mention that. So when Wen says you're up next, please turn your camera and your mic on. That's when you should be ready to turn your slides on. It's kind of implied because we talked about it, but I want to be explicit to let you know you are responsible for sharing your slides. That's pretty important. All right, Jesse, hit me up with a question. Go for it.
Hi, this is really specific to my project, but so I have like a tutoring program that I'm going to present, and I was wondering if I needed to include like the names of all of the tutors and the team members, or only like the management team.
Ooh, I would say, okay, this is what I would do. I would have the management team at the very beginning, so the people know who are the leaders / maybe presenter. And then at the very end, allocate just like 5 to 10 seconds to make sure you just thank all the tutor on your team. And if it makes sense, put a list and slides on there. This is just because, one, it's nice to see who are the tutors, so it looks like you have a team. But the other piece is your tutors are going to be acknowledged by you, right? That's one of the best form of appreciation you can show to your team as well. Does that make sense?
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Other folks, questions? This is one of those moments where I tell myself, good job, Anthony. I think I covered everything, but I don't really know. Okay. Oh, Vivian. Yes, Vivian, go for it.
Hi, I was wondering if we need to present on how we are going to spend the funding. Do we need to cover that, or?
Something tells me okay, so the cool thing about this is it's a pitch. I think it probably makes more sense to focus on what's your impact, what you plan to do to create that impact, and like how impactful, like it's impact really, right? Your vision and your impact. But I would be prepared to answer that question if that comes up. So if that sounds like a typical judge question too. It's like, if we're giving you this much money and you have this wide range of scale, how do you plan to leverage that much money to make sure that you are doing a good job? So that might be a question that's related to that.
That makes sense. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Lucy, I see you next.
Would it be like helpful or okay if we brought in like a guest speaker who wasn't like a participant in the project, but like somebody we worked with, like who has experience and like helped us?
Ooh. My gut is telling me that might take it more time away from presenting and showing up who you are. I would really start kind of rely on you and your team to present and have that message that your guest speaker might be able to present. Because sometimes guest speakers, they may go on for like a lot longer and they may take up all your time. The best way to control your time and to control the message is to just represent what they say and say, so one of our guest speakers, one of our people who have supported us, this is their remarks. You might even have a slide for testimonies. Because of this person right here, an NFPP, right, for example, this is what I was able to accomplish. I have never thought it was ever possible to make this community better. Thank you, NFPP. So that's an example, like a testimony, if you want to add to that for part of your pitch.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome. Grace?
So you mentioned you would allocate around like 2 to 3 minutes at the end of the pitch to allow for judge questions. I was wondering if you had any examples of questions or ways that we could prepare for questioning.
So great questions, appreciate that. So one or two, like one of them we just mentioned earlier was like, how you plan to allocate the funds. They may ask that. they may ask certain questions. Like I would imagine, I'm not a judge, but if I was thinking critically and I'm trying to say like, is this worth my time, right? And it's say, I see right here, your project is focused on API Heritage Month. What sets you apart differently from maybe other programs, right? That is happening all over the United States. And you might be able to say, well, our community doesn't have this. This is actually a white dominant community. And without this, our people would not know, right? And so that question might come up based on what they assume is happening in the world. And your community is a little different. So you get that question, Grace?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess a higher level of recommendation is be prepared to present on answering questions like, who are you serving, the type of impact, what sets you apart. So when I saw API Heritage Month activities, if I was in the Silicon Valley and I lived in the Silicon Valley, which actually I do, there's a very highly concentrated Asian American community. And I am part of a board member of what's called M Collective, and they're focused on Asian American storytelling. And when I'm working as a board member, I asked them this question: yo, you're competing against like collaboration. You're competing against Mountain, like Go Mountain, I think that's a group, right? You're competing against all these other like known YouTubers. What sets you apart? And they go, how many of them tells the Vietnamese story? And I'm like, oh, snap, you're right. Because everyone else was like about East Asian stories, right? And Middle Eastern, which is I consider as part of Asia, right? But very little story talks about being Vietnamese, right? That's an example of like how that person set itself apart and how there's a need. Like, how is it that you're gonna have one of the largest population in San Jose and in Orange County, and yet there's really no storytelling that's authentic to Vietnamese? So that right there is an example of my experience, being able to answer that based on the project I've worked with, being a board member of M Collective. Okay, did that make sense, Grace?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Let me know, is this helpful for y'all, by the way? Oh, Ed asked, just curious, what cities are we from? We are from Austin. So while I'm waiting for more questions, do me a favor, and let's do Ed a favor too. Let us know where you're from. And so, for example, in the group chat, Anthony, San Jose, California, because my bad, I jumped into this and I didn't even give us a chance to like build our community. Please forgive me, my apologies. I usually get too excited. So let us know where you're from. And are there other questions? We have about 7 minutes left. These are great questions, by the way. Cool. I'm really curious, it's like how much energy and time it will take for people to respond in their chat to respond. By the way, that curiosity, so I have this tendency sometimes like poke and prod at people, and it's kind of like, oh, he's so disrespectful, or he's calling us out. I hope you don't take it that way. It's actually genuine curiosity, because I asked the question, and then it took about maybe like 10 seconds. And then so once I finished talking, about 10 seconds, then one messaged it, and about maybe 10, 15 seconds, I see the flood of like text coming into the group chat. This is actually really critical when you do Zoom like meetings and webinars, because you may want to require some kind of audience participation. I don't think you need to, but in the future, right? Or if you try and get a response from maybe judges, sometimes it's delayed, and being mindful of that and keep that in your consideration is helpful. Okay, wonderful. Oh, Jenny's looking at me. Jenny's my favorite right now because I love Chicago. But just so disclaimer, I have no weight and like voting. So even though I can say you're my favorite because you're in Chicago, you get nothing from me. Sorry. Let's see here. From San Jose, Jason, Candace from Lexington, Vivian's from Cincinnati, Lexington as well. Okay, great. St. Louis. Ooh, St. Louis. I need to visit St. Louis. All right. With that said, I don't know if there's anything else I can provide for you all. We have this pitching day student guide for you all so you can present. The judges are really excited. The fact that we're practically doing a 3-hour sprint for the judges shows that they really want to support this project and they believe in the vision. We'll be there to support you. We believe in your vision. Ching Bai is ready to go to responding to questions. Thank you all for being here with us. I don't know what else to say. Wen, Ching, do you want to add anything else before we come to a close?
I'm good.
Yeah, so again, as Anthony mentioned, we are here to support you, and congratulations for all your great work.
Yeah, wonderful. So if that's the case, I want to give us back 4 minutes, and I want us to just really enjoy your Saturday. We're excited to see you next week. Let us know if there's any challenges. We are here to support. We'll try to respond to you in a very, very quick turnaround time as much as possible. But until then, you all enjoy, take care of yourself, and enjoy the song, which has been on my playlist ever since Sangchi came out. Yeah, take care. Have a wonderful rest of Saturday.
Oh, there's one Liu Ming. Can you promote?
Thank you.
Oh no. Okay.
I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. I think one of the student leaders is in attendance. So I think I made a mistake of having the time zone confused. That's on me. But I know that one of the student leaders, I saw that she was in the meeting.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna check with her to see if if there's any specific issues that I need to be aware of. I'm so sorry about this. But I've confirmed with the student leaders that they are going to be available for the pitching day. I'm assuming that you guys did talk about the order of the presentation on the pitching day, right?
A little bit, yes, a little bit. We will have the official order out on Wednesday.
Okay, so my problem, yeah, that's good. My problem is that a lot of my student leaders are like insanely busy. Not a lot, there are only so many students, but so I'm wanting to honor their time just to make sure. Yeah, okay, 5 minutes, that's, yeah.
Yes.
Cool, okay.
So Min, you're good.
Yeah.
Ching will send out an email with the pitching day student guide. We're going to also try to get this recording out too, hopefully in time, so that they have the recording to go back to.
Yeah.
Pretty much if they have the student guide, then they pretty much don't really, it's a supplement to the recording. And yes, so let us know, because this is a good example. Your students are really, really busy. Figure out what time works for them best and send that information to Ching and say, hey, we have this time slot because we're so busy. Can we somehow accommodate this, right? And we're gonna do our best to accommodate you.
Okay, sounds good. I might do that to Ching. Okay, sounds perfect. I apologize, but I'm actually pretty proud of my student leader. Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much for being here with us. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna end the meeting.
Yes, we can end the meeting now. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you.